And we are live with the end of year Christmas special. Season's greeting, or this year has been interesting. We'll be talking about business news, everything like that. It's going to be awesome. We are joined. I'm joined by my usual co-host Triple M, and a new guest. I'll let him introduce himself, but first we'll start with my co-host Triple M. Go ahead, sir.
Well, last time on BS Busters, Sony's got caught with trousers down. Didn't I tell you guys that I was really angry about the stunt that they were pulling, and now they just caught with the trousers down. And then next gen's the next blast processing. Like Coupon said, Majora's Moon in Assassin's Creed Unity. Oh, the end is nigh, my friend. The end is nigh. Seeing the hair back there, bug-eyed eyes and goat teeth. Next gen right there. DRM is coming back. As again, like Coupon Strive said. Oh, maybe not on the hardware of the consoles, but individual games. Oh yes, they're going to spitball you with that almost everywhere. Now, Good Shepherd actually discussed his military experience. That was a sad day. And I felt for him. But anyway, then on to Shadow Fox's latest Wii U Expo versus PS4 comparison. Now, before I get to the nitty gritty, there was one before that Furious Francis was also in that discussion that he wants Nintendo to go all out and shut the people up. And I say it won't work. Why it won't work? Because we've seen it time and time again in the history. When every time Nintendo actually done something really good and tried to shut people up with their exorbitant false claims and accusations, there's a new one pops up, and then the famous debate with Shadow Fox and his the debater with the famous I'm my own source. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you say that and you basically admitted it that you are not looking up for source yourself, but actually having people do it for you, then I'm sorry, I smell kind of a hypocrisy right there. And last but not least, the VIS for last podcast of BS goes to Coupon. Now, those are some speeches right there from her. And on this very show, we'll be starting with response to 219 Garian of Where Are the Real Gamers?
Well, before that, our guest has to introduce himself.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Levon Kaysen, and I'm glad to be in this podcast, a special guest in this podcast. Let's hope we can have a good time.
All right. Okay, go ahead, Triple.
Now, I really did like the video that Gary N did about where are the real gamers, and yes, I'm also on that same boat because we're only here to talk about games, right? But then I have a bit of a problem when I really only want to talk about games, but then we have all these BSs coming from all sides, and not just from the gamer side, but also to the company side. And I have to say, and the reason why I came out to speak about all these things because it's getting too much. Something really needs to be said because if I just talk about games and all these other shenanigans are happening, and I look the other way, I just see myself as a naive person. So I would like to talk about all these shenanigans that are happening because if I can't say anything about them, then I feel like I'm not doing anything here. Kind of like event status is actually doing since he came to the YouTube feed. So Hey, you can pretty much say that I'm trying to do my part as well. I also point out my own opinions, not onions, opinions. So, anyone care to join here?
Yeah, I'll jump in a little bit. Let's see. Well, let's start early on this year. Let's start early on, because this is a year end type thing. Let's start with the early point of this year, with some lies that were told. Early on this year, you know, if you're a Nintendo gamer, which I mean, I'm primarily a Nintendo gamer. I mean, I have a PS3 and a Wii U and a Wii and a GameCube and all that stuff, but primarily a Nintendo gamer. We heard the so-called company, the only big third party that was still quote-unquote supporting Nintendo, give us a stack of lies. And we found out later on that they were holding games hostage on the system. They're like, well, if we don't tell anyone, if we once the hardware sales go up, it'll be all right. And I mean, that didn't really bother me, because most of the games that I mean, aside from most of the games that have come that have been multi-plat, that have hit the Nintendo, the Wii U, that have been under Ubisoft, haven't been that good. I mean, Assassin's Creed 3, like, arguably the worst Assassin's Creed ever. I mean, it's like I never personally saw the joy in Assassin's Creed, but Assassin's Creed 3 personally was just so, it had a very bland hero. The story was interesting, but it just, like, I mean, it feels like this. Assassin's Creed feels like the people at Ubisoft don't know how to make an open world game and make it fun. Because, like, here's the thing. The thing about an open world game is that, like, yeah, you can go from mission to mission to mission doing the storyline, or you need to have a lot of stuff that people can do that's fun. That, I mean, they're getting stuff. Like, GTA does this well. Like, okay, I can go to this next mission and help take out a drug house, or I can run people in an ambulance and get infinite sprint or double health or something like that. Like, there's something you can do. I can steal from people's houses so I can get infinite sprint, or I can do these police missions so I can always have, like, armor or something like that. You can do something aside from the main missions. But Assassin's Creed, it's like, okay, go find these pages, go find these feathers in high places, go fight this dude in a fist fight. Yeah.
That is so robotic.
But I mean, not to mention, I mean, and then they released Assassin's Creed 4, which was apparently better than 3, but I mean, on the Wii U had no DLC whatsoever. Even though, which I'm like, even if people aren't going to buy the DLC, at least give us a chance to buy it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you don't go to a store and they're like, we don't stock Coke.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing. Like, even if you don't sell a case of Coke, you don't not stock it, because there's a chance someone might come through there and be like, I want a Coke. Unless you're Ubisoft, because if people don't, if you don't buy their DLC, they won't provide it. And then the whole Watch Dogs thing, which was just
overhyped.
I mean, okay. First of all, not only was Watch Dogs overhyped, like, the game, like, here's the thing, okay? I'll give you a game that was overhyped. Destiny was overhyped, but the actual game has solid gameplay. It might not be for everyone's cup of tea, but, I mean, there's nothing flawed within the... Well, okay, the loot system kind of sucks, and the party-making system kind of sucks, but, I mean, generally speaking, overall, it's a playable game. Watch Dogs is like a crappy GTA clone, but it's not even a good crappy GTA clone. Like, it has nothing to fall back on. Like, GTA, even if you don't like the gameplay of GTA, it always tells an interesting story. I mean, you can drive around and listen to the radio stations. There's other stuff you can do. It's completely different with Watch Dogs. First of all, there are no radio stations in this game. It's an open world driving around game, no radio stations.
Are you freaking serious?
No, I'm joshing you. This is all a lie. No, I'm serious. There's no radio stations in Watch Dogs. You drive around listening to cinematic music. When you're like escaping from the police, it switches to the police chase music. When you're like, infiltrating someplace, it's the infiltration music. I mean, I'm like,
okay, I'll give them that. At least they got something, some type of music in there. So
no,
yeah.
No. Here's how I know this is bullshit. I remember playing a game on my GameCube that I actually loved called True Crime. True Crime True Crime was. Here's what Activision said at the time. They said True Crime was going to be the GTA killer. It wasn't. True Crime was just a decent open world game. But there was a neat feature that you could collect CDs in the game. And yeah, this is when CDs were big. This is before MP3s and iPods and all that shit. And the cool thing about the game was that you could actually customize what music played when you were in a firefight, or when you were in a level where you had to beat up people, or when you were in a stealth level where you had to sneak up and like strangle people out, like choke people out and stuff. And one of the cool things was that you could like customize like the fight music. It's sad that a game that was on the GameCube, the original Xbox, and the PS2 had more features than a game that came out 2 gens later. That's some embarrassing shit right there. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. That's some sad shit, Ubisoft. And apparently Ubisoft had 500 people working on this game.
500 people?
Yes, 500 people across 3 studios.
Okay,
wow.
Yeah, I remember correctly.
Well, which is amazing, which is shocking until you realize that those 500 people turned out a game that wasn't a glitchy, bug-filled mess. It was mediocre, but not glitchy and bug-filled. Whereas Ubisoft had 800 people across 4.5 studios working on Assassin's Creed Unity, and we all know how that turned out.
Which is baffling.
That you have 800 people and you still turn out something that's that terrible?
No, actually, worse than the game that had 500 people on it.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is, but you know what's really shocking? Nintendo can have a team of like 20 people working on a game, and they turn it out, and no bugs, no glitches, plays just fine. It's amazing how certain companies use their manpower, isn't it?
Well, that's the question of the millennium.
It's like, damn, I mean, shit, you guys need to import some dudes from Japan. Maybe you can steal some people from Nintendo. I don't know. Maybe you can, like, entice them. We'll give you a French baguette. We'll give you a croque monsieur or croque madame.
Pretty much.
But yeah, this year has been a downer, if you will. Actually, no, let me walk that back.
Yeah, actually, if you look at the specifics, it is a downer, but on the whole, it's kind of a mixed of mishmash.
Well, no, let me walk that back a bit. I shouldn't say that overall. Okay. Overall, okay, this year has been a downer. If you're a Nintendo-only gamer, this year's been great. We've had good game after good game. Like, we had Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I mean, this is just on the Wii U. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Then we had Mario Kart 8. Then we had Hyrule Warriors, which is pretty good. Bayonetta 2 and 1, Ultimate Edition, whatever. Smash Brothers, Captain Toad. We had 6 really good games out this year. Next year's supposed to be almost every month a good game dropping. That's what they said. I don't know if it's true. Even if they like cut that down to 8, that's still a pretty damn good year. But if you own an Xbox One or PS4 or dependent upon third parties, this year has been shitty. And that's sad.
Yeah, pretty much attest to that. I mean, just looking at from the outside in, I'm like, is this what the industry is becoming to? I mean, about the whole releasing games that is bug-filled mess. That's
Yeah.
just a new low to me.
Well, hey, man. You know we can always fix it post-game. We can fix it with a patch. Now, here's the thing. And this may be because I'm an older gamer, and I remember when we had cartridges, and like the game just had to work. Like if it didn't work, your game, people would find out your game was shit, and it wouldn't sell, and you'd lose money. You go out of business. Like I don't. Like now they're like, we'll fix it with a patch later on. It's like, were you even gonna try and ship a complete game? You know. It's sad. Oh, snap.
The next gen struggle is real.
The what?
The next gen struggle is real.
Yeah, but what next
What
gen
the
struggle?
Third parties, games, some of the games the third party makes.
I wouldn't even call it a struggle. I would say, because here's the thing, okay? We were told by third parties that the reason they couldn't, what was holding them back in 7th gen from making good games, because a lot of the games in the 7th gen were shit, was that they were saying we don't have enough power and the consoles aren't more PC-like. Right? That's what third parties said.
Yes, that's what they said. It was the hardware.
They said it was the hardware. We're held back by the hardware, and the architecture isn't more PC-like. So Nintendo stuck to their guns because, I mean, whether you like it or hate it, Nintendo's like, we don't dance by your tune, motherfucker. They don't. That's not how Nintendo rolls. But Sony and Microsoft bent over backwards to give these third parties exactly what they wanted, and what they got in return was a pile of shit.
Yeah.
So it begs the question. Maybe the issue isn't the architecture. Maybe the issue isn't the power. Maybe the issue is that a lot of these third-party developers aren't very good at their jobs.
Maybe they dropped out of college.
I don't know if they dropped out. I mean, because in order for you to be a developer is a highly technical style job. It's one of those jobs where even if you get out of college and you get a job for a developer, because I have a friend who's a developer, and he actually works for a company that does like contract work for places like Bethesda and other type of developers. And the thing that he told me was that, like, look, even if you get high grades in class and you program your little game, your little final project in order to graduate, you still walk out with a diploma and no real idea of how to actually hone your craft. Like, you find a game developer that's been on the job for like 20 years developing games, those people have experience that you just don't have getting out of college. Like, okay, Shigeru Miyamoto, like, people got mad at him for talking shit about a lot of third-party developers, but I mean, this man has 30-something years of experience making games that have consistently shit on most third-party titles. So, if anyone has earned the right to talk shit about other people's games, I think it would be Shigeru Miyamoto.
It's not even that kind of talk. It's more like, yeah, these people are just doing a business-wise choice, but at the end of the day, it's so boring.
Well, I mean, how many times can you be a bald-headed Marine with a 5 o'clock shadow, cursing people out with a gun in your hands, shooting stuff? I mean, not there's any, look. This was cool back in the day when we had Duke Nukem, but here's what people didn't realize about Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem is a parody. It's
Of the '90s.
It's a big parody of action movies of the late '80s, early '90s. Okay.
Mhm.
Doom was like revolutionary at the time, but it seems to me that most games nowadays have not moved much beyond Doom. Yeah, the graphics are better. Yeah, the music is better. It's a more quote-unquote cinematic experience. But literally, you're still running around shooting stuff.
Mhm.
Thing is, with me, I wouldn't even mind if it's practically the same bloody game with a different character. It's just that some of these doesn't even work right.
No, I need something. I need something a little bit more substantial. Like, I need do something different. I don't know. Like Conker's Bad Fur Day, you had a squirrel shooting people, a foul-mouthed squirrel shooting people, which is always fun. Banjo Kazooie, you had like a first-person mode where you were like using Kazooie's eggs to blow people away, cause it's Banjo Kazooie. You know, GoldenEye. I mean, that made sense. That's James Bond. He's a dude who goes around shooting people. I mean, that's his thing.
Using gadgets and saving the world.
Yeah, he gets the girl. Haha. So, I mean, does anyone have any topic they want to bring up before we move on to the next one?
The Vita is getting some games.
Yes, it is. It is. Unfortunately, they're all indie games.
No. Get some like retail games like Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yeah. Most of them are indie games. Like 50 games and like 45 of them are indie games, which I'm not saying indies don't count, but at this point in time, the only thing I want to hear from Sony is how many Vitas they've sold.
That also, if it's indie games that you can only get on the Vita.
Yeah, I mean, because
I would
Resident
buy.
Evil Revelations is coming to PS4, I think PS3. I'm pretty sure at some point, Capcom's gonna port that shit over to PC.
I can see that too.
At some point, they'll probably bring an enhanced port to the 3DS, because, I mean, let's be frank here. Let's be frank here. Resident Evil Revelations, the first one, did it. It sold the most on the 3DS. I mean, it probably won't sell too well on the Vita, but they can bring it over because God knows the Vita needs something.
Now, here's my thing with Revelations 2. Now, I wouldn't mind if that game was a full, complete game, but since it's an episodic thing, which
Microtransactions.
that's one, and I had this experience with Sonic the Hedgehog 4 when I heard that it was episodic. I was like, oh yeah, my interest for that game just went downhill. And this is the same case with Revelations 2 here.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I'm a person. If I pay something, I would like to know that it's actually all of it in one.
Yeah. Like if you pay, I mean I can agree with you, but it's only like, okay, I can deal with episodic if I know that I'm getting like if it's at a reduced price. Like those penny arcade RPG games, like they're $10, right? And they're a decent amount of playtime, but they're $10 a piece. Or those Traveler's Tales games where they're like $15 an episode. I can kind of understand that, but I mean the thing is that most gamers, like if I pay $60, I want the whole damn game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Oh,
understand.
yeah. And speaking about this, okay, the game is episodic. That's like me. For me, I'm like, okay, I'll wait until they actually release the full game afterwards
And buy
because
it, yeah.
I've seen these type of episodic games, and most of them, I mean, most, not all, most of them did not complete or were
Yeah,
not complete.
yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully this will. I mean, here's the thing. At this point, I think Sony is just kind of nursing the Vita off right now because like they can't afford with all the money they're losing in all their other divisions, they can't afford to keep on keeping like the Vita is just kind of limping along. Like they can't really afford to kind of keep it going. Not their fault. Well, actually, no, it is Sony's fault. It
I
is their
got
fault.
Vita. I got
What?
I got PS Vita.
Yeah, it's Sony's fault. It's Sony's fault. When Sony released that proprietary memory, because I remember when the Vita came out, I was like, wow, this Vita, it seems like an interesting thing. But then I realized it wasn't backwards compatible with the PSP games. Um, my friend had one at the time, and he tried to use the remote play with his PS3. That shit didn't work too well, or at all in some cases. And then the proprietary memory. That proprietary memory is what really kicked the Vita in the ass. Because it's like most of the time when you're talking about a handheld, people want the biggest memory card. Because that way they can download games, apps, whatever. And they don't have to worry about anything in the future, you know? But for like the biggest, I think isn't the biggest memory stick for the Vita 64 gigs,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
and it was like I think that one was like $89 at the time.
I thought it was like $100 or something.
Yeah, initially it was like
Whoa.
99.99, and then they cut the price to like 89.99. I'm like, who does that? I mean, I know they were trying to thwart piracy like they did back in the day, but because the PSP was the most pirated handheld in video game history, by the way. I mean, it was heavily pirated. It was, oh my God, they lost so much money on that thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
On the software. The
Yeah.
Vita, they did everything they could to keep people from pirating it, but they also made people be like, why am I going to spend $100 on memory? Like I think the 32 gig, which was the second biggest, was like $69.99 or $59.99, and the 8 gig was like I was like, what the hell? Who?
Mine came with the 8 gig.
Yeah, well that's what it came with. But if you wanted to upgrade, I mean, how many games did you download on that hard drive? I mean, on the hard drive space.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing.
About all my physical.
And still in this day and age, physical has an
I guess I
upside.
guess if you like physical stuff, but I mean, the thing for me is that like the hard drive space thing, the fact that I mean, the cool thing about a handheld is that like, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I personally do like physical media for a lot of stuff, but I can't tell you how many Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS cartridges I've lost. I'm talking like 30, 40, 50, like I'm talking about 60, $100 worth of cartridges.
Oh my
Just
gosh, you are one sloppy person, my friend.
well, because it's physical media. It's so much easier to download that shit and then just have it on your drive, have it on your card. Because I have a 64 gig thing. I don't know how many blocks that is, but basically I've downloaded huge amounts of games, no problem. And I spent like $20 on the damn thing. I'm like, you know, the memory really didn't really. I mean, I would get a Vita if it was more heavily supported by Sony, but
Speaking about the Vita, um, my gripes with it is, well, Sony as a whole is They over deliver, and then when it comes to actually doing it, uh, they're a bit of a slack off.
You mean they promise a lot, and then when it comes to actually delivering it, it kind of just it's a little bit less than what you expected.
Yes, and
I
especially
expected it to be more powerful than the 3DS, but I wasn't expecting it to sell as much as the 3DS. I was expecting it at least be like a my next gen combo would have been a Wii U and a PS Vita just because of the porting of them porting the games to the Vita, like Bioshock Infinite. If that don't come to Wii U, if it came to Vita, I would buy on Vita.
Yeah, that's the thing is this: the Vita is too powerful for its own good. It's so powerful that you have to actually put a lot of money into putting a game on the Vita, and most third parties do not want to put a lot of money on a handheld. You know what I mean? They don't want to put the type of budget that they put on a handheld game. Like, let's say it takes 10 million to put a game on the PS4 or Xbox One. I mean, this is probably I'm probably lowballing it. It could be more than that. But let's just say 10 million, right? To put just a game. I'm not saying it's AAA, just a game. Now, you'd have to sell let's say this isn't a full price game. Let's say this is a budget game. 10 million, you would have to sell, let's see. I'm going to do some math here because I'm crazy. Let's see, 10 million, let's say it's a budget title, it's $40 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
$40 a pop, you'd have to sell, let's see, 40 divided into 10, 0, 0, 0. Okay, that's 2. Let's see, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. You basically have to sell over. Let's just round that down. Let's just round that up to 23. You'd have to sell 230,000 in order to break even, because you have to add in shipping and manufacturing, that type of stuff. Which isn't. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, you know, almost any game could do that. But then you have to realize a lot of these games have budgets of like 80 million, 100,000, 150,000, you know?
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, people don't want to spend like a huge, they don't want to spend what they'd spend on a console game on, you know, the the Vita, which is what they did. I mean, in order to make a game look good on the Vita, you have to spend the same, like roughly close to the same amount from scratch. If you port a game over, I mean, you look at a lot of the ports that are on the Vita, they're really lazy ports. I mean, like Borderlands 2, literally they just ported the game directly to the Vita, which is cool until you realize that they also they literally ported the game to the Vita. So, you know, the Vita has kind of a small screen for shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the text is that small too.
Speaking
So
of
if you're trying to read those, you know, Borderlands is a very text heavy game because you have to read the stats of your guns and stuff like that. Yeah, they ported that over too. So good luck trying to figure out all that shit. You might throw away a gun that's really powerful.
yeah,
Are
speaking
you
about
the Vita TV?
What? Yeah, the Vita TV sounded like a cool idea until like I found out only like 65-70% of the games for the Vita actually are compatible with the Vita TV, and Sony ain't patching in anything anytime soon because the Vita TV suffers from the same memory thing that you know, the Vita does. And I'm guessing if they had to patch it in, it would be like at least 10, maybe like 10 to 12 gig patch. And I mean, if it's coming with an 8 gig thing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
speaking about the whole porting thing about console games on the Vita. Um, at first, I didn't had a problem with all of that, but then I started to noticing that there's a numerous of games that just ports on the Vita, and I'm like, wait a minute, what happened to um, um, the uniqueness of the Vita? Because if they're gonna keep porting games on the Vita like that, like nothing, then the uniqueness or the value of the Vita is just diminishing, just like that. So all the games that you could be playing on your consoles or on the Vita, you could already play on your consoles, which
Yeah, that the ports are a problem. I mean, 50% of the games on the Vita are were ports from the PS3. I'd say the other 30% are indie games, and maybe 20, and 20 is probably too high because not a lot of exclusive first-party games on the Vita. Like,
You could say like 10 to 15%.
yeah, I was being a little, I was
yes,
being a little bit liberal with the estimation because I don't like being ultra conservative, but I mean that you can't do that. You can't. And here's the thing: Sony could have had an awesome handheld because all they had to do was follow Nintendo's example. It could have been awesome, but they didn't.
you'd think that would be very simplistic of them to do because they've been pretty much doing that from the get-go.
Well, they should have done it. They should have been like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a handheld that's backwards compatible with the PSP. So all those PSP games you guys have, because I have a friend, he had a PSP, and he didn't pirate games on it. He liked he liked the Daxter game. He liked, what?
Never mind.
No, there was a Daxter game on the PSP that was actually pretty good. Except for there's no second thumbstick for the camera control, so it kind of sucked for camera control. But the game itself was pretty good. I mean, there were some really good games that were on the PSP that were for Sony exclusives. They had a medieval redo on the PSP that was pretty good. And if they had brought that over, if they said, okay, boom, you can carry all your shit over. You got your MIDI. You can carry all your shits backwards compatible. You can use a memory card, like an SD memory card. Boom, you're set. I mean, that would have been awesome, but instead, Sony got afraid because it was so damn. The PSP was so damn pirated that they got full reactionary. They were like, well, we're gonna make sure this shit's not gonna get pirated, and it hasn't been. It also hasn't been selling that well, which is kind of funny. And the only reason I laugh is because the former CEO of Sony America, Sony Entertainment America, Jack Tretton, called the 3DS a babysitting device, but the babysitting device kicked the Vita's ass, which is kind of funny to me because. I mean, here's the thing. You can't afford to talk shit when you can back it up, but you can't even back it up, so why are you talking shit? I mean, if you can't, I mean, look, listen. I'm old school, when I was a kid, we would fight. Like, none of this, go get a weapon. We just fight. And, if you can talk shit, then go ahead.
Heck, I wouldn't even mind the indirectness.
I would use my Vita as a media player
Really?
and a video game player.
Yeah, to be honest, that's basically. Oh my gosh, that's basically the Vita. That's right.
That's what a lot of people use it for. I mean, I'll be frank with you. When I was, when I used to work, when I was at work, when I was first started my business, basically I'd use my Wi-Fi in my like I slept in a cot in the back room because it was just easier than commuting from home back to work, from home back to work, and I would use my 3DS as a stream Netflix to it. It worked out pretty well, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, that having the screen in your face was really awesome. But let's get off of the Vita because we all know it's not doing too well, and Sony I mean, I've said this before, and I'm just gonna say it again. Sony needs to either support it, which at this point I don't think they're gonna do, or just like quietly let it go. Because I mean, it's not fair to have people who own a Vita keep on expecting all this stuff, and half of it doesn't materialize. You know, it's kind of like how Square Enix is like, well, hey guys, you guys want Final Fantasy VII? I mean,
I'm sorry. I just don't want to cry about this, so I just laugh at it because, oh my, this is so senile, man. I mean, you you showed a PS3 version of it like about what um, s- um 7 years ago, and yet you're still bringing out the original PS1. I mean,
I just can't believe they won't upgrade the damn thing.
that's what I'm not comprehending here.
I
Oh
mean,
my god.
people want. I mean, let me put it this way: I never liked Final Fantasy VII. I thought it was a waste of time. But I mean,
Uh, Furious Francis said it best on Shadow Fox podcast. Um, of all of all the games that you can actually redo or enhance is the PS1 library, or generally that generation of games library. I'm,
yep.
I'm even
I
putting
mean,
the actual two in
literally. I mean, let me put it this way: games in the 64-bit generation. The PS1 doesn't count 64-bit because it was actually 32-bit. But games in that 32-bit, 64-bit generation, literally these games, if you redid them, fully, like okay, kind of like how Square Enix, kind of like how Nintendo did with Wind Waker HD, dumbasses. Um, that would really people would really like that. And here's the thing: I know Square Enix likes remaking games because they've remade the original Final Fantasy through 4 from the ground up multiple times and re-released it too. So I mean, I don't know what's holding them back from re-releasing 7 since they, that's like their favorite.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be as hard on Square Enix if they didn't even show that rehanced PS3 of Final Fantasy VII. If they'd never done that, I wouldn't be on their case. Because this is um um like Square Enix is the fisherman and dangling the bait. Dangling the bait in front of Final Fantasy fans. Jesus
You guys
Christ,
want
man.
Final Fantasy VII? You guys are... No, the thing is that, I mean, they're totally clueless about it. Because the dude, I was looking at the thing, the dude popped up, he was like, man, I really want... He's like, you guys want Final Fantasy VII? And they were talking about it. And then the dude, he's like, you can play Final Fantasy VII again, the same damn game, all over again. Boom. It's like, what the...
And boom.
I was so mad. I was kind of pissed off when they did it. Because, I mean, I don't like Final Fantasy VII, but I would love for them to do a remake of 5 and 6. How's it going, Mario TGP?
Hello.
How's it going?
Stop playing.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, but you might want
Yes.
to turn off your camera, because...
Okay.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, turn off your camera so it doesn't use as much bandwidth. Yeah, we were just talking about how Square Enix trolled the hell out of everybody with that
Uh,
Final Fantasy.
yeah. Did you guys watch that commercial of Final Fantasy VII?
No.
They say this could be picture, and I'm like, really? Um,
Yeah, no.
Visually, I think Final Fantasy VIII is far superior to Final Fantasy VII, but only that, the graphics. I think the SNES Final Fantasy games are better than the PlayStation PlayStation Final Fantasy games.
You really think that?
Well, I hate to say this, but I have to agree with him. Not for see. Here's the thing. The people who like Final Fantasy VII are the people who didn't start playing RPGs until they played Final Fantasy VII because of the graphics.
Yeah,
But
I'm feeling that as well.
yeah, they like the FMV scenes and it was in 3D. The thing is that RPGs aren't about graphics. If you hear a company, a developer say, okay, we're making an RPG and we're focusing on graphics, get
Red
your
flag.
shit and run. Run. Because RPGs are about character development and setting and world building and story. Okay? Like, if the story's good, you'll keep on playing, even if the graphics look like garbage, because you're invested with the story. It's like okay, if you play an RPG that goes like this, okay, you start out, it's a post-apocalyptic future, and some raiders attacked your settlement, and they shot you in the head, they left you for dead. You were found by the Rangers. They took you in, they trained you, they made you a ranger, and now you're out for revenge. That story sounds kind of engrossing. You're like, hey, it's a post-apocalyptic future. They're mutants and cyborgs and maybe some other weird shit going on, I mean, now this game could have very shitty graphics, but you don't care because you're like, man, I'm this badass ranger. I got to get the dudes who killed my family. Turns out the dudes who killed your family were hired by someone else who's way up high in the food chain. You're going to have to gather some strength, get allies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an RPG. That's how an RPG is supposed to run. If you hear someone say, "Oh, man, those graphics look awesome," I start to be like, "This RPGs might suck."
Interesting note here. I'm actually using the Q&A session, which for the love of God finally works on my end. We just have Francis here asking us why did we spend so much time on the Vita.
I don't know. I guess we were trying to help the Vita out, because God knows it needs it. The Vita needs all the help it can get. The Vita's like an old man going up some steps. They need all the help they can get. Okay. I guess we need to move on. Here's something. Here's a little something. Nintendo has struck gold with the Amiibo. Apparently, the Amiibo prints money for Nintendo. So much so that people are offering sexual favors in order to get their hands on certain Amiibo. No, probably not, but maybe. I don't know. If someone's really desperate. I don't know. Maybe it could. Listen. As much as people have been offering, selling those things for on eBay, I'm pretty sure someone may have offered a sexual favor for one or two. I'm just saying. Which proves one thing: Nintendo has found something that prints money.
I mean, that's something that Coupon Strive mentioned on Bear Huggers podcast about the whole shortage of some of these amiibos, and I would like to agree with Coupon on the Nintendo really did make a bit of a mistake. A mistake on some of these amiibos, thinking that some of these are not going to sell well, but when you look back, I think Nintendo was actually looking at these amiibos.
Alright, man. Alright, guys. I gotta get out of this call because I'm kind of tired. But it was nice meeting you all. And I hope you break rate, comment, and subscribe to my channel, Live on Cases, where I make gameplay, occasional opinions, and occasional reviews. See you guys later and peace.
All
All
right,
right,
so
take care,
long.
everyone.
So long, brother.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, well, now back to the whole amiibo thing. I think Nintendo was actually looking at these amiibos as how much their respective franchise was actually selling. I mean, I can understand which one, which one that was not in stock anymore. Was it Little Mac,
The Villager and Little Mac.
yeah, the Villager, and I think there was one more. Shulk. These three.
You
Oh,
know,
and
I think
Marth and
yeah, I'll
Marth and
tell you
Ike.
what I think about the amiibo. I think that Nintendo it was a dual pronged thing. The amiibo were there to, of course, make money because I mean, if you're in business, you're there to make money.
Money. Yep.
And two, to give a guide to what was popular, what Nintendo IPs were popular. So now they know what to focus on in 2015 and 2016. You know what I'm saying? They know what to
Yeah.
really push. Okay, um, like IP wise, and I think it was more successful than they ever thought it could be.
Oh yes.
I think Nintendo. I mean, once again, I mean, you can say whatever you want to about Satoru Iwata. You can call the man clueless, but I mean that dude, leave luck to heaven indeed. I mean that dude. I mean I'm telling you, when Nintendo, I mean when Iwata messes up, it's normally a small mess up, but when he hits it big, goddamn.
Oh, catapulted back to the heavens.
I mean because like here's the thing: if you had told me 2 years ago Nintendo was going to come out with little figures that you could scan into your system,
We wouldn't believe that.
I would have been like, "What the hell? Yeah, get the fuck out of my face!"
Yeah.
But I'll be damned, they did it.
But it wasn't hinted on the previous Smash Brothers games.
You mean with the
Concept of,
trophies?
yeah, there's an FMB scene where they are like toys and they transform into the real characters.
Fighters, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the way that the amiibos work is, I don't think like way back in the N64 era Nintendo was like, man, we're gonna make some figures in about 10 years that are gonna act like that. I think it was more like it was one of those serendipitous moments that everything just clicks. Because, I mean, like Smash Brothers is about these toys that are on bases that come to life and fight.
You know, to be honest, I actually wish that that these amiibos were like um
Actually alive.
no, not actual alive. Well, I didn't want them as trophies because when Smash Brothers was first appeared on the N64, they weren't as trophies. They were just like dolls that uh you could actually reposition them in any form you wanted to.
Yeah,
And
but when you won, you got a trophy. Like the character was on a base, it was a trophy.
yeah, well, the trophy thing was introduced in the GameCube version. So.
No, they had trophy because at the end of the game. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. They were just figurines. It was with the GameCube one that they became trophies, and they took it
Yes.
further on the Wii, and now we actually have trophies. We get to be Master Hand and Crazy Hand.
Pretty much.
You know, I think that even if we know that Nintendo made a ton of money with the Amiibo figures, I think those dollars aren't as valuable as the as the PS4 um, money that Sony made. Because I see more coverage about the weird amiibo figures like the Samus with two cannons, but they rarely talk about the sales of how much of a profit Nintendo made with the sales of the amiibo. Like
No, they won't
that
talk about
doesn't
it.
count. It's irrelevant. But I'm pretty sure that if those toys were a failure, you will see no end of articles and articles about how much of a failure it is. Or
Well,
if Sony made those figures and were a success, the coverage will be huge. So
well, I mean, let's be frank here, okay? Sony basically, like, okay, people keep on saying the PS4 is profitable. The PS4 is profitable. The PS4 is profitable. That is correct. The PS4 is profitable. They're making some profit off of every unit sold. But the actual the PlayStation division still was in the red last financial quarter.
yeah, I think that it's not only about the profits, but the huge debt that
Yeah,
Sony
the debt, the like the 40 or 50 billion that they accrued in debt that they accrued, like they were like, we made $100 million profit this quarter. I'm like, yeah, but you owe the rest of the company like 50 billion. That ain't shit, man. You know?
Yeah,
and
I
and your first party games aren't selling, and that's where the money is because like if you spend like 10 15 million on a game and it sells like 1 million, you made profit. You know, and you sell like 500,000 units, you already made your profit back. You already made your profit back. But God, so stupid.
yeah. I saw two numbers of Sony. One was the estimated assets of Sony,
Yeah.
and the other was the amount of debt. And they are nearly equal, the assets and the debt. So they will have to sell everything to pay their debt.
Yeah, it's no, that wouldn't be good.
And
Okay,
so,
we got some
uh,
questions here
okay.
from PE Nintendo. Let's get to them. Um, one was from you, Mario, but we're gonna drop that one because you're
Ah,
already
yeah.
here. Okay, when do you guys see Nintendo announcing their next system, and what are your thoughts on a fusion style system?
4 years.
4 years, okay. Um, Fusion, what do you think about the Fusion?
It's like when there were rumors about the portable GameCube. No one can really predict what Nintendo is going to do next.
Yeah, that,
So I don't like predictions. The only thing I know is that Nintendo is going to release their console in about 4 or 5 years because that's a tradition, is a 5 6 year cycle for a video game console. But that's all that I can say.
that's how Nintendo rolls. So what do you think, Triple M? Same question.
Uh, I'm thinking the same. In about four. Okay. It's year two already. Oh, it's year two already.
Yeah.
So I could probably say at the earliest 3 years, but
Mhm.
I might go for 4 years as well. Just if if the Wii U will keep selling at maybe a little faster rate than how it is right now,
Yeah.
they can actually um, extend the lifespan of the Wii U by a year or maybe two, like they did with like they did with the Wii. The only reason why the Wii um, was cut off like how it was is because there wasn't much game was coming out for the Wii. So yeah, Nintendo just had to
They had to
jump.
kill it.
Yeah, they had to kill and jump stuff for the Wii U.
Yeah, they had to kill it. Well, I guess I'll answer it. Yeah, I'm gonna say 4 years. But they're gonna announce it at the E3 the year before they release it. They're gonna announce it at E3. They might show a few pictures of it, like maybe a little bit of gameplay on a game running on it, and it's gonna look fucking gorgeous. And Microsoft and Sony are gonna shit their pants at that E3. and
Oh, jeez.
they're gonna shit their pants. And Phil Spencer's gonna have another shirt saying, "I went to E3 and I got my ass kicked by Nintendo again." And
Wait a minute, did he?
well, that's what he should have had at this year's E3.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and then the year after that they'll release it like in the fall, and they're gonna be like it's gonna I bet you it's gonna launch with a Mario game, the Mario game to really launch everything. Like they're gonna have like this system is gonna be like the Wii was last gen. It's gonna burst on the scene like a firestorm, and it's gonna be backwards compatible with the Wii U because they're not gonna screw over their fandom like that. So you can take all your games and carry them over, and it's gonna be friggin' awesome. As far as the Fusion goes, yeah, I could see Nintendo doing that. I could see them doing a system where, like, the way they get around, because Nintendo doesn't like putting a lot of power into stuff, because it's really expensive. They'd rather do well at learning how to maximize the hardware through talent than just going by brute force alone. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you're using technology that's like 3 years after the curve anyway. So it's better you know how to utilize the technology to its fullest. So
Actually, I forgot to answer the whole fusion question thing. Well, to me, actually, I'm not even going to bother with that kind of prediction because I've been wrong twice already. First, with the Wii, I thought Nintendo was going to come with an HD system, but that was not the case when
come
the Wii
on,
came out.
man. You know Nintendo don't do. Nintendo, they'll jump into the pool when they're good and ready.
Guys,
Yeah,
let's imagine that those rumors were true. That Nintendo actually is going to release a new console that is no, a console that is more powerful than the PS4, because you hear those comments every day, like it's too underpowered and such and such. It's not as powerful as the PS4. But imagine if Nintendo release the next year a console twice as powerful as the PS4. Do you really think that should change the press opinion, or what will be the excuse for third parties?
They'd find some excuse. They'd be like, look, man, look, I would develop for this console, but last night I ate a twisted wicked burrito from the taco place down the street, and, I've been sick, so I can't work on a Nintendo console because I'm going to be in the bathroom like all day long. Give me that newspaper, give me that tablet, I'm going to be gone for a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either way, look, listen.
basically,
Look, here, we'll get into third parties later on, but I mean, basically, we'll get into third parties later on, but because we got to talk about them because this year has been the year of shitty third-party games. Let's move on to the next question from PE Nintendo. Furious Francis, what are your most anticipated games of 2015? Pick three. Pick three. Since we started with you last time, Mario, we'll start with Triple M, then you, Mario, and then myself.
Give me a second, Fox.
Okay,
I need to
I'll
bring
go.
up the list.
I'll go. Let's see. Well, number one is Zelda Wii U, because I mean it's Zelda Wii U, baby. Number two is, believe it or not, and I know this is gonna make me sound like an asshole, but I'm really looking forward to Final Fantasy 15. I know.
Don't say
Blasphemy. And,
I wouldn't go so far to say blasphemy. It's more like oh crap! I had that with my mouth.
and Xenoblade Chronicles X. Those three games. I mean, here's the thing. Everything coming out for Nintendo, I'm probably gonna get next year. But Like those are the games that I'm really like. I probably won't get Final Fantasy 15 when it first comes out. I'm gonna look at it and wait until the price goes down because I don't get Final Fantasy games when they first come out, but I damn sure will. I'm damn sure gonna be looking at it and looking at it a lot. So Triple M, you ready, or should I just go to Mario for next?
Let Mario teach you the answer.
Okay, Mario, go.
Um, Zelda U, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and Glorious Leader.
Glorious what?
Glorious
Glorious
Leader.
Leader?
Yeah. It's a PC game where you play as King Jong-un. It's a 2D action game like Contra.
Oh, yeah. I think I may have heard of that game. Okay, well that's cool. Okay, you go now, Triple M.
Why am I having such a hard time getting those lists? Anyway, let me just take the top of my head. Yeah. Let's believe it or not, I am actually interested in Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to my surprise, on its reveal, I was like, okay, that's a good concept. I'm not going to see myself buying that game, but after what we saw of the latest trailer of what you can do in that game, I was like, that's it. I have the money, but take what I have because now I'm really interested in that game. Yeah. Plus, like Red Fox, you gotta have that Zelda, man. You got to have that Zelda.
Yeah, I gotta, look, listen. I got an itch. I got an itch that only Zelda can cure. More cowbell, baby. More cowbell. More cowbell. Gotta have more cowbell. Yeah, I mean, let me put it this way. When I saw that, like, okay, I'm gonna put it like this right now. Okay, this next year's E3 2015. If AG Anuma comes up there with a playable Legend of Zelda Wii U demo on the floor, Nintendo wins E3. Period. I don't care what Microsoft has. I don't care what Sony has. Like, well, I got Uncharted 4. Get the fuck out of here. Microsoft, we got Halo 5. That's cool. Yeah, go sit down. The line for playing Zelda Wii U is gonna be around the block. And if they come out at next year's E3 and say, oh, and by the way, we've also got if they also come out with a Metroid for the Wii U and a demo, like if they come out with dual Metroids, they're like, we've got Metroid for the Wii U and Metroid for the 3DS, and they're like, the one on the 3DS is a 2D game, and the one on the Wii U is like Metroid Prime, but HD with a bigger world and more planets to explore. Maybe like have multiple playable characters, or maybe have a more in-depth system or whatever. It's done. Nintendo won E3 already.
Well, they already said that they will have Star Fox for the next year, so it's I'm pretty sure they will show it on the next E3.
No, I think Star Fox is going to come for E3. I think Star Fox is going to be like their May game. Like right before E3, they're going to launch Star Fox, like they did with Mario Kart 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, here's my problem. Why I couldn't. I have a bit of a trouble to list at least 3 games because right now the games that came out this year, I feel like I don't need to look forward to 2015 because
next year, because you got games this year.
Yes, and also that's the positive part. And now the negative part, because we've been basically slandered by third parties left and right. And yes, I do not mean all third parties. I'm saying just the ones that are really guilty about this. Heck, not even guilty about it on Nintendo's consoles, but on other platforms as well. So yeah, when it comes to third parties, I've become really jaded.
Cheated. Yeah.
Yeah, about what's coming next from them. So um, to
You
give
can't
an
trust them.
yeah, but to try and at least try to give an honorable mention to these to some um yeah, oh, crap, I forgot this game. I think it was No Man's Sky. Was No Man's Sky?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I actually wanted to. I actually am interested in that game, but because so far all we've seen is just CGI. Uh, let's just say my optimism for that game, or my general interest for that game is a bit of a waiting side, but I'm trying. I'm trying to keep interested.
Yeah, it's like when they showed Tom Clancy The Division, and that was before Watch Dogs were released. And now that we saw how that game turned out, I don't have that much hope that it will be as appealing like it looked in the E3 presentation.
Well, anything from Ubisoft from henceforth, I'm kind of skeptical on. I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be a good game. I can't trust Ubisoft at this point. Like, unless it's coming from Michel Ancel and his team, I don't trust anything from Ubisoft anymore.
You
But
know what?
I guess it's time. Let's move on to the next question, and
Right.
then we can do our closing arguments after we get through with all the questions. This isn't the last question. This is just the closing question. This is just the next one. Might there be a movement like Operation Platinum for Star Fox U? Despite 10 years of whining, people can't be trusted to put their money where their mouths are. I'll answer that question.
Please do, my friend.
Because it needs to be said. Like I said, having to listen to grown people whine and complain about how they wanted Star Fox, go crash Miiverse with stupid stuff, saying they wanted Star Fox U, and they're finally getting a Star Fox U. All I'm going to say is this: this game better have at least a 50% attach rate for the Wii U audience. So let's say
50%.
Nintendo. Let's say Nintendo sells 9 million by well, they're probably going to hit 9 million by January. 9 million units sold. I better, and I mean I better see 4.5. I better see 2 million in the first month this shit launches, because the way you people were whining and complaining about, I want Star Fox on the Wii U. I want Star Fox on the Wii U. And I want, guys, I'm just saying, I want Star Fox on the Wii U. This is just my opinion. I better have Star Fox. There better be Star Fox on the Wii U. That's all I'm saying. Because the way people were whining about this game and putting it, like, launching movements and shit, this game better sell very well. That's all I'm going to say. Next question. What directions do you see Pokemon going in for Nintendo's next systems? This is from PE Nintendo. Last one was from Anderson Archilla, but this one's from PE Nintendo.
I'll start with this. I wouldn't be surprised if there was actually not a remake, but a sequel to Pokemon Snap. Heck, that gamepad functionality, it's right in front of you, right there. Um, Now, I really would like to see a Pokemon Stadium style of game to return, but I'm pretty sure Game Freak has other plans, which I really have no idea.
Mario?
Yeah, could you please repeat me the question?
Question was, what direction do you see Pokemon going in for Nintendo's next systems? Like the future, not this system, but the next system, like in the future.
Um, well, we already saw that Nintendo is willing to give their that IP to another developer. Like this year,
You're right. Because
we saw
Pocket Point.
Hyrule Warriors, and we already know that there's going to be Pokken Fighters. So what I think it's going to be is that they will keep releasing the main series of Pokemon while they make more spin-offs of their games, because I think it has been a really smart move by Nintendo.
Yeah, speaking about the spin-off titles, yeah, there've been some mediocre ones, but hey, it prints money.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm gonna give my opinion. I think that um, I think that Nintendo is gonna do both. I think they're gonna come out with maybe two more Pokemon games for the 3DS. Like two more. I think they're gonna come out with maybe two more. A sequel to X and Y. Um, and maybe like one more after that. Maybe, just maybe.
Maybe.
Um, I don't know. I know they're probably going to make a sequel to X and Y because it was just like with more stuff to do in it. Like, because there was certain stuff that wasn't in X and Y that is in other Pokemon games. Like, there's no casino. The Safari Zone kind of stinks. Um, but I mean, that's aside. I think they're going to make a. I think on the next console, I think they're going to do more stuff with augmented reality. So like you'll play like a Pokemon Snap game, but instead of you can not only catch Pokemon in the game using the so-called fusion system. I think you'll be able to like see Pokemon like in your house, like through like there would be a camera on the thing like the Wii U gamepad, and you can like see Pokemon in your house and catch them. Like not catch them, take pictures of them. I think they'll have like a Pokemon game on the console that's gonna be kind of like a game. It's gonna be kind of like the Poke Ranch or the Poke Bank, but it'll also be a game by itself where like it'll be like Coliseum for the N64, but like you won't have to attach anything. You'll just upload your Pokemon into the game, and you can play. You can get like special TM. You can get TMs and move tutors and all that cool stuff in the game. I mean, I mean that's what I see them doing. Or they could just do something entirely different and just have like third parties use their IP. Like you can have a Pokemon Brawler or a Pokemon a true Pokemon RPG, not like the simplified rock paper scissors style fighting in Pokemon Now, but literally like have a Pokemon equip weapons and fight and level up, change classes, stuff like that.
If
Uh,
Nintendo released a Pokemon focused amiibo, I mean amiibos of all the Pokemons, uh, I think that no one will remember Skylanders.
Yeah, they wouldn't. They
yeah,
wouldn't. I mean,
yeah.
and here's the thing: they don't even need to release all the Pokemon. They could just release they could do like a first wave would be like the 151 original starter Pokemon. So like
Yeah.
the first beat. Okay, you got Charizard. I mean, you got Charmander. You got Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Charmander, and you don't need to do the evolutions because the damn things level up as you fight with them. So by the end, like inside the thing, it's like a Charizard now, a level 100. Just kill everything Charizard. It's like I sent my Charizard to kill those dudes, and it did.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if there was a Pokemon that looked like it killed people,
Charizard is one of them. Yep.
Charizard looks like it killed. Like Dragonite, like I remember in the original Pokemon, everyone's like, Dragonite's so awesome. Dragonite looks cuddly. It looks cute. I mean, it was one of the ultimate Pokemon in the game. It looked like something you could hug and just be like, hey, I love my Dragonite. Charizard looks like on the weekend he kills people. It's like, what did you do this weekend, Charizard? Oh, I killed a motherfucker or two, you know.
You know what? Even though I'm much more of a Charizard Pokemon fan, but I kind of like the whole duality between Dragonite. I mean, something that looked cute, cuddly, and innocent can actually maul you to death. I mean, that's brilliant. That was just brilliant.
I guess. I mean, me personally, Charizard's like one of my favorite Pokemon, and I love how I love how Charizard just looks vicious. Like all the starting Pokemon in the original generation, they all looked vicious once they fully evolved. Like Venusaur looks like it killed somebody and ate them. Blastoise looked like it killed somebody and ate them, and Charizard just looked like he killed somebody, you know.
Yeah.
Charizard returned. Hey man, take this bloody knife. Don't tell anyone you got it from me. If anyone asks, I've been here all day long. You know.
Also, Scyther. I will love a Scyther or Scizor amiibo because it's I don't know, I love that Pokemon.
Yeah, Scyther looks cool.
And Blastoise, it's my favorite, maybe because I played Pokemon Blue instead of Red. But it's like a turtle with cannons.
Yeah.
It's basically a armored turtle tank.
Yes. With hydro cannon. with two hydro cannons, because you know you can never have enough firepower. You can never have enough. I mean, Blastoise always looked like a dude you just wouldn't want to mess with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If Hollywood decide to make another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, it will be cool that there will be four Blastoise, four Ninja Blastoise.
I guess that would be cool, but I'd rather not have them make another
they're going to butcher the thing.
Turtles movie, especially if it's going to be directed by Michael Bay.
Explosion Bay.
I don't want to see it ever again. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a huge Michael Bay fan, but I don't want to see another Teenage Mutant Turtles anything.
Oh, me neither. Just that I will rather watch four Blastoise with ninja bandages that four Shreks, four weird Shreks that pretend to be turtles, because that the turtles of the Michael Bay movies don't look like turtles. They look like
they don't.
Shrek.
They are freaking terrifying. They are. Those are the most terrifying turtles I've ever seen before in my life. And I mean, I have never been so scared in my life. I've never. Like, I used to love I had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle soft doll, a Mikey soft doll when I was a little kid, and like a teddy bear, but it was a turtle, and it was Michelangelo. And I mean, I would never, as a kid, want to cuddle with any of those turtles. They scared me. Like literally, I was like, "What the fudge? What the fudge?"
Okay.
It was creepy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the whole amiibo thing. Shoot, where is that thing now? Oh yeah. Okay, now about the shortages thing, I can understand Wii Fit Trainer, Villager, Captain Falcon, Little Mac, and even Shulk to have shortages. But
Yeah.
After what Fire Emblem Awakening did, I didn't expect that Nintendo would actually have shortages of Marth. Heck, I expect Fox, but Marth? Or even Ike?
Well, I mean, it actually kind of makes sense, and I'll tell you why. Because the thing is this: Nintendo only the only information, the only way that they know if someone's going to buy something or not is by like most of their data comes from people. Um, like
That
it
actually
doesn't.
buys this stuff.
Well, yeah, it doesn't come from people buying stuff from them. Their sales data comes from places like the retailers telling them like X amount of these sold. And the problem is that a lot of retailers kind of poo-poo on Nintendo's numbers, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how are they going to know if something sold a lot if, people are underrepresenting their stuff? Like a lot of their stuff, like a lot of the stuff that, because I get a lot of my stuff out of Amazon. It's not sold directly through Amazon. A lot of their stuff is sold through third-party and second-party merchants, which is kind of shady, but, what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, also this that I'm waiting for the page to load. Finally, the three best-selling figures are actually Link, Mario, and Pikachu. It's kind of ironic that Link is the best-selling, while Mario is second, and Pikachu is the third. Because if I remember correctly, wasn't Mario games are the ones that's selling the best? No, actually, Pokemon is the best selling games. Second is Mario, and then finally a third Link, maybe even lower than third. But yeah, be like some freaking irony here.
Now, it makes sense that Link would
Anyone
sell
care
the
to explain?
most.
Yeah,
He's the one
anyone
who
care
has
to,
the most functionality.
wait a minute. These three has the most functionality.
No, Link has the most functionality. You can use
Yeah.
him with Hyrule Warriors. You can use him with Smash Brothers. You can use him in Mario Kart.
God.
So you can use him in 3 games. You can use the Mario amiibo in 2. I mean, yeah, you can use him in Hyrule Warriors too,
But
but you don't
it
get
kind of
anything
brings.
special out of it,
Yeah. But it's kind of a conundrum here, which out of these three, actually, the Legend of Zelda franchise is the one that sells less than than Mario and Pokemon franchise. Which, yeah, that's the irony that I'm seeing here.
It sells because it's Link. It's a pretty cool figure. I imagine that's the reason. At the end of the day, it's a plastic figure. It's a figure you can put on your shelf, and it
Yep.
just looks cool. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the main reasons it sells that much.
Even though it does kind of look like he's peeing, just a little bit. It does just a little bit. It does look like he's peeing.
Yeah.
Just a little, because I have the figure myself. I haven't opened it. Well, it's been opened because those bastards at GameStop, which is where I got my Link figure from, opened it before I got my hands, and then they stapled it shut well, because they're bastards. It's GameStop.
Bastards.
Yeah, but yeah, it looks like he's peeing a little bit, but I don't care.
Yeah, I kind of wish they actually stayed with the colorless one instead of this yellowish one. But yeah, here's my question about this: would you think by this by the sales figures of these three particular amiibos, would you think that the Legend of Zelda sales would, or let me just say, it's oh crap. Oh man, I'm having brain aneurysm here. Anyway, let's just say like this: would you believe that the Legend of Zelda series would actually skyrocket in sales as opposed to Mario games and Pokemon games.
Well, I mean, it's not that. It's the thing is this: Legend of Zelda has its audience. Okay,
Mhm.
like Legend of Zelda in Japan, it sells okay, not great. Legend of Zelda in Europe sells pretty well. Legend of Zelda in America sells really well. Okay, I mean, it just depends on the audience. Like Mario sells pretty well in Japan. Europe, not so much. America, we
What?
really like that fat plumber.
Yeah.
It's me, Mario. I'm a sleepy. We like we like that fat plumber and his skinny brother who's better than him in every way. We like those characters. Um,
Green Mario.
yeah, we like Green Mario who's better than normal Mario. That's the thing that always killed me about Mario and Tails as sidekicks is that, like, I mean, Luigi and Tails as sidekicks is that Tails and Luigi are so much better than the main character in every way. Luigi can run faster and jump higher.
Yeah.
Tails,
Luigi is far better than Mario in Mario Lost Levels because
yeah,
he can do long jumps. It's practically impossible to beat Super Mario Bros. Levels with Mario. Well,
yeah.
I
In
can.
Lost Levels, it is. I know. I have that ROM. I'm not that ROM. I have that game for my SNES. Um, the original, not the one that also came with Super Mario World. And the Lost Levels are damn near impossible if you're playing as Mario. But if you play as Luigi,
Yeah, it's
that long
much
jump.
easier.
Green Mario. Oh no.
Green
I
Mario
guess I
and
have.
Red Luigi.
I guess when it comes to the lost levels, I think I have a bit of a masochism inside me because I've actually played with Mario instead of Luigi in the lost levels.
But it's like I mean that's the thing. People are like, well, Nintendo's kiddie. Have you played the Lost Levels?
Duh!
I mean, that game is not for kids. That game is for people who like to torture themselves.
Yeah.
Themselves.
No. I mean, I don't even think Miyamoto could beat the Lost Levels. And he made the damn thing.
Oh, heck no, no.
It's like, come on, man. What is this, man? This is bullshit, man. you know. But yeah, I mean, it just. So, anyone have any closing topics before we wrap this up?
Yeah, that now the year is ending. I like to look a few months back when there was all the hype about Titanfall, Destiny, Watch Dogs, and I think this year could be a very good lesson about you should really don't trust hype. Um, I mean, years before there wasn't a way to show how people got deceived by overhyped games, but this year there's enough of coverage before and after a overhyped game is released. So so when again companies try to do that, spend millions of dollars developing a a safe game, a shooter or an action game, and lie people about it. Now we can what happened this year. So uh, that's it.
Well, I think. I mean, that's what happens when you. I mean, look. Here's the thing. Okay, these are relatively new consoles. I mean, the Wii U, the PS4, the Xbox One. there was no way in hell that developers could deliver with those promises. It just wasn't going to happen because it's new hardware. It always takes at least 2 to 3 years for a developer to get used to new hardware. It's the reason why the consoles. It's the reason why. Like at the end of a console's life cycle, you see games that look really good, much better than anything during the first few years.
Yeah.
But Red Fox, what about the the x86 hardware? I mean, they could put that thing like no problem, right?
No, you're right. They can port it over, no problem. The problem is the issue is this, okay? Even though you can port something directly over, like, you know, right now I have this issue with my PC where a lot of the software is x86, but the hardware itself is 64-bit instead of 32-bit.
Yeah.
So some things aren't compatible. Like I have to like get an alternate version of a lot of software, and I'm okay with that. But I mean, like even if you port something directly over, you still have to do some programming in order to get it to work well.
Optimization.
Yeah, there has to be some optimization with a lot of these third-party developers, and even to some extent, some first-party developers. 'Cause look at the shitstorm that was Halo Master Chief Collection.
Sometimes they can't even port Tetris.
Well, I mean, when your first-party games aren't being ported, because here's the thing: all they had to do was port over. Like they didn't have to port any. Like people think that Halo 1 and 2 ported over.
Tetris, how they could not.
How'd they mess up Tetris?
Yeah.
Oh snap!
Yeah, well, that's Ubisoft though. I mean, and I know some people are going to say, well, that was a developer that Ubisoft contracted out to make that game.
But then you look at the Assassin's Creed Unity floaty faces, the eyeballs.
Yeah, but that actually makes sense. Like, here's the thing, okay? Assassin's Creed Unity, despite all of its flaws, and it has a lot of them, made sense to be messed up because it's new hardware, right? And it's a new game, it's a new engine, new hardware. You know, I mean, because really, that game should have. Assassin's Creed Unity was made in a year amongst 800 people. That game should have been pushed back 6 months. It should have been released before E3. If that game had another 6 months, it probably wouldn't have been as buggy and glitchy as it was. I'm not saying the game would have been any better, like gameplay-wise, but it wouldn't have had those issues. But I mean, with Tetris, I'm thinking there's no excuse for that game to be the way it was. There's no excuse.
And actually, once I applied to Gameloft, a subsidiary of Ubisoft, and one of the tests to apply to Gameloft was to make a Tetris clone. So.
You serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the irony, man!
Yeah, I know.
Come on, that is no, that's facepalm right there, my friend. Now that's double facepalm worthy. This doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah, maybe they are hiring the CDI Mario games and Zelda games developers to do that report.
I won't take it that far. Basically, from what I understand about the Tetris game is that Ubisoft bought the rights to Tetris. Before the rights used to be with EA, before that they were with Nintendo. The company that owns Tetris was owned by the guy who finally got the rights to the game that he made. And then, like, now his daughter runs the company, and she just sold it out to because she's not a developer and they don't really have the means to develop it themselves. So they're giving some of the rights to make the but here's the thing. EA didn't mess up Tetris. Nintendo, when they had Tetris, did mess up Tetris. Ubisoft managed to mess up Tetris. And here's the thing. No one in their right mind would think someone could mess up Tetris because it's so hard to mess up. Like, you have to go out of your way to mess up Tetris. It's like someone saying, we want you to make a tic-tac-toe clone, and you F that up. It's like, you can't. How do you do that?
Yeah.
But then, here's the thing I'm hearing people saying, the reason why the Tetris is like this, it's because of I think it was server internet infrastructure issues. But how could that make a game stutter?
Well, here's my question: why would Tetris need online play?
You play?
No, why would Tetris need on? Okay. If you're playing online and you're playing like head-to-head Tetris, where you complete a combo, you drop junk blocks on the other person's table, then yeah. But you don't. That's not really. That shouldn't be an online heavy, intensive activity. So why in the world would you need like intensive online? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
I'm not a programmer or a developer, but I know when something uses a lot of resources on hardware wise, and that shouldn't be chugging the system,
You know what's sad? To pay a monthly fee to play Tetris online.
Yeah. They just want to make you pay a lot of money. That's all it is. It's just them wanting to push a product, and it's Ubisoft. Ubisoft is lucky they are an American company because they would be voted as shittiest.
The biggest thing about this is it's on the PS. This thing is happening on the PS4.
Yeah, but I heard the Xbox version was kicking people out to the lobby whenever they wanted to play it on a multiplayer game. So
yes, that as well.
Yeah, well, you can't blame the hardware because it's good. I think it's the developer and the publisher's fault, and mostly the publishers because they just test that game and say, yeah, let's go and release it.
Yeah.
And you see, this is the whole thing. This whole thing about a hardware's power. We've been as us Nintendo fans, we've been saying this exact same thing is happening on the Wii U. Now this is happening on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now are we gonna say is this about or no? Are we gonna ask is this about all power-wise of a console?
Yes, I am. I'm gonna say the same thing about their consoles that they said about mine. PS4 and Xbox One are weak, son. they're last gen. You need to. I don't know what's wrong with those weak ass consoles you got. You paid $500 for that weak ass console. So I guess it's your turn to bring up your last topic, Triple M.
Well, to be honest, we actually wanted to discuss a bunch of topics, but let's see if I can run through these things really quick. Let's see. The thing that the Order 1886. 5 reasons you might not want to pre-order. Let's rush this quick. Now, Sony fanboys are actually pissed about this thing, but hey, we're seeing some signs about this game not being
very good.
No, not even very good. Not up to quality. Playable, but maybe not up to stuff. So
look, listen. Let's be honest, okay? Sony does not have good first-party games. They've never had good The best first-party games that ever came out to a Sony system were during the PS1 era. And I know what some people are going to say. What about God of War? Yeah, what about God of War? Okay.
The SNES games were good.
No, I said. No, I'm saying
Yeah.
that Sony has
No.
never had good first-party games,
But
except
well,
during the PS1 era.
oh,
So
okay.
like they had games like Power Rap of the Rapper, which was awesome by the way. Power Rap of the Rapper 2, aka Jammy the Jammer, Medieval, Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, Ape
Yeah,
Escape.
I still don't know why Naughty Dog got rid of Crash Bandicoot
Because they
IP.
never owned the rights to Crash Bandicoot.
Uh,
Exactly.
who
Sony
was
rented the rights to Crash Bandicoot is owned by Universal Studios,
oh
and they sold the rights to
Activision.
they didn't sell the
Well,
rights,
no.
they rented the rights out to Activision.
mm,
Yes, because Sony got tired of paying that money out. Because I mean, people don't seem to realize just how strapped for money Sony is. Like 20 years ago, Sony was worth $180 billion.
yeah,
Today, they're worth less than 30.
yeah. But the PS4 is selling like crazy, man, and
Yeah,
so
man. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but
is. It is.
it,
They
it
made
doesn't matter.
PS4 made $100 million profit for
Yeah,
the PlayStation division.
and
Um,
Sony should totally spin off the PS PlayStation brand, even when that brand is also filled with debt.
yeah, it has 50 million. It has $50 billion worth of debt, but if they keep on making $100 million a year, I mean $400 million a year for the next 10 years, they'll make $4 billion worth of that debt back off the PlayStation division.
Maybe if they sell two PlayStations 4 to every single human being on the planet,
on it.
they can rid off of that debt.
I
That's
don't
the
I don't
miracle.
see it happening. But so is that your final topic you want to go with? Triple M is the order just not really helping people out?
Yeah. There's more, but I'm trying to
Well, you got to
shoot
go with
out something from
one
here.
so we can
All right. Let's see. Damn. Maybe we shouldn't have speak about the Vita. Anyway. Okay.
You know, okay, okay.
I'll end it off with something good here because there's um there's a YouTube video that Nintendo released some weeks back. They were actually it was a Nintendo Minute, and they were chatting with Koji Kondo. Great vid, by the way. Although even though it was strictly about Mario Maker or Mario franchise, um, there was one comment in the comment section. There was one comment that hit me right here, right in the heart. Um, I'm sorry, but should I mention this username, or should we keep it anonymous?
no, you can talk about it. Why not?
I wanted to read off this person's comment. Okay. She goes by Amelia Blaze, and it goes just a little message I want to share. Mr. Kondo, I want to thank you for all the musical inspirations you've given me over the years. You're one of my favorite composers of all time, and I cannot express in words how much your music has influenced me, although I'll try. As of now, I am 14, and have been composing for as long as I can remember, and your music has been with me the whole time. I was lucky enough to be born into a very musical and video game enthusiastic household, so these things always went hand in hand for me. Twilight Princess was one of the first games I ever played, and still holds my favorite soundtrack of all time. It really stuck with me as a little kid and immensely influenced my music writing as I got older. Your music has molded me as a writer and was my starting point to branch off into composition. And I wouldn't change a thing about that. Your music has made me love Nintendo and wish to be lucky enough to do what you do for the company. I am eternally grateful for you, your music, and all that you've done for me musically. I would be thrilled to know if you had read this, although I highly doubt that. But nonetheless, thank you for the amazing content you continue to produce without fail, and for the inspiration I and many other people I am sure have been lucky enough to receive. Keep it up. I have to say that struck me. It made me have manly tears because that's how I felt when I actually the first time I played Super Mario Brothers, and heck, that Mario Brothers theme, it'll stick with you.
Yeah.
And from that
Well,
point, and yeah, from that point on, I was interested in music before, but after playing that game and hearing that music and the rest of the games that I've played, I have I have admired Koji Kondo and all the people that I've heard um, producing music for video games because man,
Yeah.
I lost for
Uh,
words here, man.
yeah, when I was a child, I actually cried at the end of Yoshi's Island for the SNES. I don't know why I cried. I love the music. I don't know who composed that, but I can really understand how that boy feels, and I agree with you. It's cool. That comment was cool. Yeah.
well, I'm just gonna say this. Koji Kondo he's like one of those composers who made the soundtrack of our childhoods. He's like Koji Kondo is the John Williams of video games. Like if you're a Nintendo gamer, because all of the really memorable games that we grew up with, he did the sound for it, and it was ubiquitous. Like you like The Legend of Zelda, Koji Kondo.
Kondo,
You like Star Fox, that awesome music, Koji Kondo.
Kondo.
You like Super Mario? Koji Kondo. Like this dude is ubiquitous. His music is everywhere in Nintendo, and that's why Super Mario 3D World. I love it, but no Koji. I noticed it, like no Koji Kondo music.
No,
Did he?
actually, he did he had composed. Yeah, he has composed some music in there, and no, I got to get the game for myself to feel what you're saying here because I'm sorry. Um, I can't jive with you on that one, but
Yeah,
yeah,
well, the thing is that Super Mario 3D World plays like a Mario game, but it doesn't have a preponderance of Koji Kondo music. Like it has the Star theme song, from
Did
Super Mario 3, but it doesn't have like a lot of Koji Kondo music to it.
did did Kondo compose the Super Mario World soundtrack?
Yep, Super
yes,
Mario
Uh,
World,
I
Super Mario 1, Super Mario 2, not 2, Super Mario 1, Super Mario 3, maybe 2, like the real 2, the Lost Levels 2.
yeah
Super Mario World, um, I don't think he did
even Yoshi's
Yoshi's
yeah
Island.
Island. I don't
Yeah,
think he
he
did
did.
Yoshi's Island.
He did
yeah
Yoshi's Island.
Okay, he did
yeah
Yoshi's Island. He did Super Mario 64. He did
yeah
Sunshine,
because when I
Galaxy. Oh God, Galaxy. Oh, the music in that game is
uh,
so epic.
yeah, because when I finished Super Mario World, I was like 8 or 9 years
Yep,
old, and when I heard that
the ending theme.
ending theme, I
Yeah.
felt so sad.
Oh my
I tell
God!
you what, I
It's
felt
the end of the game.
because yeah, it was the end, and oh, it's over. So
No, you want to
I
hear an awesome end song that Koji Kondo did? You have to hear the end song for The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The ending for
Oh
that game is
snap, man!
so epic.
Okay.
And I don't mean the end credits where they show everyone leaving. I mean the end of the game where the Link lays the Master Sword to rest and walks away, and then it goes to this opening where you see the Golden Land transform from being the Dark World back into the Golden Land, and you see like how many, like all the people that worked on it, and you see how many deaths you had in each dungeon because that game likes to punish you for playing badly. And and at the end it's like the end, game over, and it just has this epic theme song at the very end. It's, I mean, really, and the SNES had a great sound system, and all thanks to one dude, Ken Kutaragi of Sony. Thank you for that awesome sound chip you guys put into the SNES.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. I'll give Sony credit when it's due. You
Yeah.
guys, that sound chip was just fucking awesome.
yeah.
So I guess I'll get to my end topic because that was a really good. My end topic is also of a good note. This is recent. I just looked this up. Nintendo has apparently done something really awesome that they should have been doing a while ago, but they're doing it now, so I'm not going to get mad. In Japan, if you own a 3DS, you can buy Disney's Up in 3D for $32.
Oh.
Yeah, it'll probably be less once it comes to the It'll probably be less, or they might have a sale or something. It's about time we got 3D movies on the 3DS. I mean, it's the one device that supports glasses-free 3D. We need to have more 3D movies on the thing.
Yeah,
Nintendo, get with it. And that segues nicely into the little to a second thing. People say Nintendo. The rumor is that they've approached Sony to make Sony has approached them to make a Mario movie. I only have one thing to say. Hail to the nah. If you're going to let anyone make a Mario animated movie, I would say go to DreamWorks because they've done wonders with Kung Fu Panda.
I think Miyamoto responded to that. He said that it's been almost every year some studios go to Nintendo to pitch a Mario movie, but they always say no.
Yeah, because they got burnt by that Mario movie.
Yeah, what I read is that the studio take the creative control and they didn't allow Nintendo to intervene in the production of the movie.
All I know is this. If you can't make... Like, here's the thing. If you can't make a movie about Mario, like, arguably the most popular IP in the world, like, very recognizable. Like, people who don't even play video games know who the fuck Mario is. If you can't make a good video game about Mario, I mean, a good movie about Mario, then I don't know why people were surprised that Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within bombed.
Yeah, that's a Uncanny Valley nightmare.
Yeah, people are like, I can't believe this movie bombed. I can't.
Yeah, it looks creepy.
I want to make an interjection here. Before I said Super Mario Brothers was the worst game-based movie. I'm sorry, I have to retract my statement of that one because
Final Fantasy. Well, here's the thing.
No. This one is much worse. And as a fan of this franchise, I watched 5 minutes of King of Fighters.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. No, here's the problem with making a movie into a video game. the plot, there's so much, even a fighting game, there is like, okay, you're talking about a game that has, even if a game has 6 hours of plot, the longest movie can only be like 3 hours.
3 hours.
So, I mean, you have to skip all this stuff, and all of it in a video game is important. Even the side missions are important to the overall story. So it's like you can never be true to the thing. So without further ado, I guess that's the last topic. I just wanted to bring up. I guess we should do our sign-offs and what stuff you'll be doing next. Like your next content.
Right. Let me be the last.
Okay, Mario, you want to go?
Yeah, well, about my content, actually, I have a Spanish channel, so I don't think I can talk about that here. And so.
Go on, my friend.
Yeah, if you speak Espanol, watch your stuff, man. Or sorry, habla Espanol.
Yeah, well.
Habla Espanol.
Yeah, my username in my Spanish channel is Frederick Catherwood. I do movie reviews, and I read creepypastas and do some unboxings of $1 shops, of toys of $1 shops. It's a comedy-based channel, so. It's youtube.com/fgatherwood. And next year I will keep developing my game. And this year I released one. It's a horror-based game. It's a typing horror game. It's called Mr. Mix. It's based on a creepypasta. You can download it for free from mrmixgame.com, and that's it.
All right, so I guess I'll go since Triple M wants to go last. Let's see. I have another podcast that I'm planning to do Monday next week, which is the 29th, I believe. Let me check it's the 29th. That'll be my end of year, New Year's resolution thing. We'll just be ragging on. It's just going to be myself and guests ragging on, what were our top 10 worst moments of the year, what were our top 10 highest moments of the year, gaming, entertainment, it doesn't matter, movies, anything. That's going to be awesome. I also have 3 new shows that I plan on launching in January that I think you guys will like a lot. That will be expanding upon what I talk about. One of which I'll be talking about What the F Japan, which will be me talking about various things that have happened to me when I've gone on trips to Japan, where I was just puzzled or something strange happened to me. And then the second one will be The Ultimate, which will be a new podcast show I'll be doing once a month, where I'll talk about myself and guests will be talking about what would be our ultimate RPG, or what would be our ultimate fighting game, or what would be our ultimate racing game or whatever. Lastly, I'm going to start a new series called Resurrection, where basically I would just float ideas of how to resurrect certain franchises that I love and I wish would be brought back. But for some reason, people just won't bring back. This is a evolution of my original show from I Want to Give You My Money, but where I'm basically going to be resurrecting franchises. As a hint, the first one will drop next week, and it'll be about one of my favorite fighting franchises of all time. And that's the only hint I'm giving you guys. So go ahead, Triple M.
All right. Well, I'm going to take my chance and sneak sneak two small topics about Nintendo actually embracing YouTube community, because we have Miyamoto visiting I Justin and Rosanna Pansino, which made a very beautiful Koopa cakes, by the way. So to all the people that keep bragging on that says Nintendo's not in tune with the YouTube community, or the whole strike BS thing, yeah, no more on Nintendo. And it's more, so this time it's more on YouTube or Google. But I digress. So that's all I wanted to say. So, yep, this has been Triple M, the lone wolf and fondness for games that pops out in my artworks. And since it's the time to be jolly, I'm just gonna end it with this. Jingle bells, Santa smells, Christmas really stunk. I got nothing that I like, my gifts were all just junk. Boxes full of clothes, CDs no one knows. What I want is something for the Nintendo Wii U. 3D World's great, Zelda's cool, 2K13's fine. And go for the girl that you want to bring home, Bayonetta 2.
You will be
Man, you're
featured in
crazy.
the next year's Game Awards.
Oh God, don't get me started on Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Okay then, we're about.
Okay.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we hope you guys have many more. Ho ho